that we do and everybody that we deal with. So welcome to their world. I really, really, really appreciate everybody that has been joining and doing everything that we've really gotten going, and I bless God for you. I thank you for what's happening in your life and what's going on. We're on the final trek toward we're on the final trek toward the Beyond the Bible spiritual retreat. And I really am. So, hey guys, my name is William Dawes. I've just got this great study that I wanted to go through it with you guys. And I appreciate you guys for being here. But I've discovered something, and I want to share it with as many people as I possibly can. So if you don't mind, grab your Bibles or grab your notebooks or grab anything that you can that gives you the opportunity to see something and to read something. And we're going to go into this wholeheartedly, deep today. I want to encourage you. A lot of times, and I'm going to stop being that person. A lot of times what happens to us is we find ourselves looking for how to live our life and wondering how that life is. I'm kind of sitting behind the screen this Friday, and we're just going to kind of relax and enjoy the elements of freedom and peace. But I want to talk to you. I really think that I talked about the two types of life: the life you live. And so, So what I want you guys to do is to get ready for what we're about to do right now. Everything is just logged out. What happened? Everything just logged out. Wow. Now, I know that you that are on Instagram see me, and I know that you're on TikTok see me, but everything just kind of logged out. What the heck was that all about? Yeah. Everything has logged out. Yeah, everything has logged out. So I'm trying to get back to it. Okay. All right. So what's going on, people? I see you guys. YouTube. I hope I see you guys eventually. But everything kind of logged out. Let me see what's going on here. Yeah, everything logged out. It says all my streams are on. Let me make sure. Yep, all my streams are on. Everybody's live. But hey, if you can see me, you can see me. Thank God for you. Say hello, say good morning, say whatever you have to say on whatever platform that you're on, and we'll go from there. I'm in a study right now that I really want to share with you. And if you want to follow me, we're going to Acts. I don't do Acts very much. I don't do Acts of the Apostles very much, and I don't do Acts of the Apostles very much. So let me go into that and finish that. So I was working on the conference today, and let me do this as well. I was working on the conference today, and while I was working on the conference, I saw this thing. Yeah, that's good. And I wanted to share it with as many people as I possibly could. And I'm studying this thing to try to get you guys into this next place. Now, if you are following us in any manner or any form whatsoever, what I want you to do is, okay, God, I knew it was something wrong with it, but it doesn't matter. Okay. So now everybody is up. TikTok is there. Instagram, you guys are there. And let me put my mic over here. I've been doing notes, people. I've been really doing notes, and I've been doing my one-on-one calls with everybody that's going to be a part of them. I've been doing my one-on-one calls. They are fascinating. You guys are some amazing people. And so I'm back. You're some amazing people. But I want to show you something that was really the catalyst for why I'm doing what I'm doing. You got me, D? You got me, D Boom? Yeah. It's really the catalyst for what I do. And it's in the book of Acts. Now, Acts is the Acts of the apostles after the ascension and the whole thing when it came to Christ. And so a lot of the things we see here are the establishments of the church. And we built this thing according to what these different situations talk about. Let me see what I got over here. Yeah, we built these things according to what a lot of these things are talking about. And so I'm going to go deep into that. So look at Acts, the 17th chapter. And I want to share something with you to help you kind of understand where I am when it comes to the things that are happening right now. I believe that church was a good idea. I think it was a God idea. I believe that it had the capabilities and the ability to change our lives. I think that with everything that is in me. I believe that pastors that really have the heart of God are a godsend. I think they are the reason that we are as far as we are when it comes to the things of the Spirit. My challenge that I have is this. We have not addressed, I'm trying to determine whether I want to get one of those mics that does this or not. We have not addressed the issues that are necessary to give the body everything that it needs. So now you have two sets of people that have a good life because of it, and people that don't have a good life because of it. And so now you're stuck in the middle of these two things, trying to figure out which life you want to live. Now I talked about the different lives yesterday, the life you love and the life that you live. And I want to go into that a little bit later, but I want to take you to this ride. John 10:10 says, and I'll look at it, but it's a very short passage. It says, the thief cometh but to steal, kill, and destroy. And then it says, I come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. 10:10 says, the thief cometh but to steal, kill, and destroy, but I come that you have life and that more abundantly. But read on. It says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd the good shepherd gives life to the sheep. The good shepherd gives life to the sheep. I need y'all to hear this, because we've been dealing with people that call themselves shepherds, and they've been taking life from you. The good shepherd gives life to the sheep. I need you to always operate in the spiritual realm. Do not operate in the carnal realm. This is not a place where you're going to do well in the carnal realm. In the spiritual realm, he says, the good shepherd gives life to the sheep. Now, we think, because we still are making reference to Old Testament principles, we think that means that you lead them around and do what I tell them to do. When in actuality, he said he gives them life. Now, you go back and he says, now the enemy, so that means anything that is trying to steal life from you is the devil. Is the devil. The devil doesn't have power over you. He has the power of suggestion. I was talking to one of the people this morning, and I said, you have to realize the devil doesn't have power over you. He doesn't have the power to possess you. He has the power to suggest. You are battling two different battles right here. And I told you, spiritual and carnal. That's the only battles you have. And in that battle, he's suggesting that you follow. Why? Because your mind, your heart, your spirit, all those things are not created for evil. Even when you do things that you consider to be bad, you are not created for evil. That's why guilt sets in. That's why all these other things set in, because you are not created for evil. Now, that's not the crazy part, and I'll dig into this a little later. Not only are you not created for evil, you have very seldom in your life understood sin. So what you feel when you do certain things is actually the guilt that comes through your mind because you feel like that thing is wrong. I told you I'm going to take this deep. So that means that if you say a curse word in front of somebody, that person may have never told you not to curse in front of me. But what happens is you cursed in front of them. And because you cursed in front of them, now all of a sudden, what you have is a situation where that person has said something, or you say something to that person, or you say something to that person because you want that person to feel like, okay, I respect you, so I apologize for cursing in front of you. when they really don't have a problem with it. I have been in so many situations where they have said to me, I'm sorry, I apologize, my bad, I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done that. When in actuality, what the situation actually was I didn't care. I didn't even pay attention to it. So, follow me here. So here's what happened. So now your heart is the guilt part and not your spirit. Because of that, you go into places that you feel are right instead of places that are actually right. You got it? So sin, most of us have never described or understood the sin of our lives. So we don't know that what we're doing is right or wrong. So we walk around being fearful to do anything because we don't want to mess up what we don't know. So we apologize for everything. We beat ourselves up for everything we do. I'm going to deal with something that we talked about this morning. There was a young man that had autism. And this is the young man. He was almost like the Rain Man, but he was a piano. He can actually play the piano. By the time he was 7, he could play the piano. I think you can look him up on the internet. By the time he's 7, he could play the piano. Everybody goes, "Oh my God, he's autistic," and da 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 da. And I said to them, what if he's so advanced in his ability to learn that really we're the ones that are weird and he's not? Well, he doesn't want to be in contact with people. He's focused. Because there are a number of you right now, and even me, that would love the fact that I could go sit down at a piano or sit down at a guitar or sit down and begin to write a novel or begin to fix a car. We want to be good at something. So this young man is good at something. So what you have to realize is what's happening to you is suggestion. What happens to you is guilt. What happens to you is self-degradation, is trying to tear you down. So follow me here. So when we go to those things, we go to church. We start going, okay, I'm going to go to church because I'm ready to fix myself. I'm ready to get myself together. And we go to church, and there's so much mess in the church that we kind of go, okay, why did I come here in the first place? Well, the reason you came there is because that was the place where you get a glimmer of God. You may not have seen him in his fullness, but you get a glimmer of him. And when you get a glimmer of God, then from that point on, your glimmer gives you an actual hope that there is a real God. The key becomes, it wasn't the glimmer of God that you needed. It was the glimmer of God, then the understanding of his spirit. So you see God, and then you most of the time see God under the Old Testament. I'm going somewhere, guys. It's a long rabbit hole, but follow me. Most of the time you see him under the principles of the Old Testament. So when he kills things and hates things and all those kind of things. And so now you think God is this really mean person that's waiting for you to sin and looking at you as this really bad person. And because you don't know that you're bad or good, you reject what you're hearing or reject what you're seeing, or you submit to it or yield to it. And now you're this frail portion of a person. Because everything they say makes you feel like it's against you. Then you come to the New Testament and you meet somebody like Uncle Dallas. And he says that John says, the thief cometh but to steal, kill, and destroy. So in your life, what are the things in your life doing to you? Are they stealing, killing, or destroying, or are they giving life? Are they stealing, killing, or destroying, or are they giving life? Now, let's go back to John. So I'm going to go to John. He said, the good shepherd gives life. I, as a pastor, I, as a leader, I, as a person, cannot give you life. I talked to a few guys with me yesterday. There's nothing that can take life from you, and there's nothing that can give you life but God. I don't care how they slice it. They're trying their best to do it through science, but nothing can give you life but God. And so when you understand how life is given, then you understand that some of the people that have been around you have been more thieves than they've been life givers. Let me explain. When you begin to look at the principles and the rituals of the things that are happening around you, and not just church, those things are created so that you can be submitted or yielded to something that is stronger, that is weaker than you. And so I have to get you to feel that you're not strong enough to handle it so that you will continue to follow the path. There is no such thing as the ability to pay your tithes out of a situation. Doesn't work. Doesn't happen at all. And the reason I say that is because we have to understand something. God's job for you is for you to have a handle on your God, on your life. You're the God of your life. So he wants you to be responsible for your life. So if you are not responsible for your life, that means somebody else is going to take responsibility for your life. So he wants you to understand that you have to take responsibility for your life. That's why it says, when in I think Corinthians chapter 9, then it's the one we use for communion. He said he loves a cheerful giver, not of obligation. Not, he said, as a man purpose in his heart. He's saying you have the heart of God. So if I tell you to do something, you should be able to do it. If I tell you to go hug somebody, you should be able to do it. If you are stuck in the religion or the emotion or Christianity, you find yourself trying to fulfill a set of rules that make you feel good and make you look good to others. He said he gives you life. So those of you that are, and I talked to, we're going to say a friend of mine yesterday. I talked yesterday was so busy. I mean, I was on the phone constantly, and God was really moving on those phone calls. I really appreciate him for that. And they were talking about, I want to get married, but I don't want to leave the house to get married. Now, some of you will look at like, man, I'm like, that is crazy. That you got to go somewhere. You can't just, it's not like God going to drop a husband at your front door and I have to apologize. He could. It is possible for that person to come up as a mailman, a postman, a delivery man, and come up to your front door. But the issue wasn't that. And that's what I've said. The issue wasn't the fact that I want him to come to the front door. The issue was the fact that you weren't ready to leave at the liberty and at the leisure of God. So if your spirit is telling you to leave and move into a different place and you're still staying there, you are disobeying your spirit, thus frustrating your destination. So what are you going to have? Conversations, conflicts, situations, circumstance. Why? Because you're still in a situation or still in a location that was not the one God wants you in. He didn't want you in that location. But you are in that location because you don't want to leave because of fear. So you run to church and you go, God, I'm ready for it. You start putting your hands up and you do all the different things. And then I read this passage to me today. In the 17th chapter, in the 22nd verse, then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, "Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things you are too superstitious." I perceive that in all things you're too superstitious. Now I'm going to jump down to the 28th verse. The 28th verse for, "In him I live, I move, and have my being, as in certain also my own poets have said, for we are also the offspring. For as much as we are the offspring of God, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold and silver and stones and graven images of man." We have to get to the point that we stop relating God to the things that are of man. Now, I told you today is my study day. I kind of flip through my Bibles and I look at stuff and I go through stuff and I read through stuff and I look at who God is in my life. There are so many testimonies right now that are happening. I need to shift you today. So today, Friday being your weekend, I need to shift you. And here's what I need to shift you into. God is able. Okay? God is able. But what you have to realize is how God is able. I'm talking to somebody else. We're just going to talk to a family member. I was talking to one of my family members. And they raffled off all these different things. And when they raffled off all these different things, they were, ADHD, they were autistic, and that's why I made that comment. They were autistic and they got all these different things. Listen, if you understand the Spirit, there is no such thing as ADHD to you. If you understand the Spirit, there's no such thing as autism to you. Why? Because the problem is, the challenge is in the flesh. The remedy is in the Spirit. But here's why I want you to understand. I need you to understand that what you're looking at is not what they interpret. So a doctor comes to you and says, hey, he has ADHD. And so he wants to give them Ritalin and all these other pills, and he wants to give that stuff to him. And you're looking at him like, I don't want my son to take these pills. But you're not looking at the Spirit. You're looking to defend his hypothesis. You're trying to defend his hypothesis. You want your son to have life, but you're not looking toward having life. You're looking toward defense of someone trying to take life. And I know that sounds real weird, but I'm going to explain it to you. See, it's the difference in you going outside and getting the mail because you like going outside and getting the mail. So the mindset is a mindset of peace and a mindset of love and all these things. But you're going outside because you're looking for a package, because you know that, or you're going outside because you're trying to get your mail because you don't want people to steal your mail because they've been stealing mail and the whole thing. It's the same thing. So when you look at your son or your daughter and you see this thing and they say they're autistic, you start looking at, wow, from the point of God, he's the way he made him. But because man doesn't understand the Spirit, they want to judge him. And by judging him, they have you now afraid to make a mistake with your child when the natural thing you do for your child is love him, period. And whatever is going on in his mind, in his head, we give God the opportunity to fix it. Now, do I say not go to doctors? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you go somewhere and a doctor gives you a diagnosis, that diagnosis is not your end all be all. It is not the end of your life. What that diagnosis simply says, remember I told you, the enemy is a suggestion. The diagnosis says to you, I see where I need to focus my prayers and my faith and my structure. I see that. Why? Because God gave these people the opportunity to be able to diagnose. That's why it's called practicing. And so your job is to have life and have it more abundantly. 3 John says, I wish above all that thou prosper, be in health as thy soul prosper. Your job is to have life and that more abundantly. Your job is not to follow around situations that drain you of your hope and drain you of your life and drain you of your situations. When you go to places, my job as a leader is to lead, not dictate. So I'm being stretched, and as I'm being stretched, I stretch you. I don't put anybody in the position that I have not been in. I don't put anybody in the position where I don't know the destination. Young man asked me, he said, I was reading through all those types of things. I was reading through all these types of things. And when I was reading through them, he said, well, I don't understand this. So what do you know about going to heaven? And somebody had just showed up in my room. I'm going, dude, I don't know right now. I need to study that out because we are putting distance between us and God. That's not life. You're going, God is up there and I'm down here. You're toiling and just by the situation of your mind, understanding position, if God is in heaven and you're down here toiling and he's watching you, people that watch you are authorities that deem whether you are judged or not. And 9 times out of 10, if they're just watching, they've not experienced it. That's why I told Christ to come and be touched with all our infirmities. Why? Because in order to have more life and understand the life I have, you have to experience it. And so now you're experiencing life, but you're experiencing according to what somebody told you life was all about. Somebody told you about your life and what your life was all about. So let's tap in for a second. Let's tap in. So in John, we looked at John. In John 10:10, I read a little bit deeper in John 10:10. I didn't just stay there. I read a little deeper there. He said, it came that you might have life and have that more abundantly. And so when I looked at John 10:10, I realized Yeah. When I looked at John 10, I realized to ask you guys, what life are you living and what life would you like to live? What life are you living and what life would you like to live? I have a lot of people that said they stopped going to church, and they stopped going to church for whatever reason. But I'm going to share a passage just for you guys on the 17th verse, because here's going to mess this thing up. What life would you like to live? We have to stop living the life we were allowed to live, or the life that people forced us to live, because there is the life you love and the life you live. What life would you like to live? Your hope has to come back up. Your dreams have to come back up. Your desires have to come back up. All of that stuff was God. The only challenge that you had is you did not have the Spirit to help you understand how to fulfill what you desire. So you desired back in the day, I wanted to drive a Ferrari, I wanted to drive a Bentley. You went through these places where hope was so strong that there was nothing that could stop you. And all of a sudden everything stopped you. Why am I going through such a hard time? If you learn these three things, you will learn why you're going through such a hard time. If you learn about these three things, you'll learn why you're going through a hard time. Okay? You ready? First thing you need to understand is, okay, write these down. I need y'all to write these down. Let's do this thing. Why am I going through a hard time? First thing I need to understand. Okay. First thing. You ready? Everybody ready to write? Tell me yes. I want to see yeses all over the place. You ready to write down or ready to take notes? All right? All right, good. All right, first thing you need to know. First thing, you ready? You ready? Y'all ready? I see yes. Okay, I see yeses all over the place. Okay. The first thing you need to understand when it comes to those things, why I'm not living, why I'm going through the stresses, why I'm going through all the things and all the situations that are happening. First thing you need to ask yourself, how much of what you're dealing with has nothing to do with you? How much of what you're dealing with has nothing to do with you? Meaning you're taking on your cousin's ideas, your thoughts of your brother, your uncle, your dog, your cat. How much of the stuff you're dealing with has absolutely nothing to do with you? It has to do with the part of you that wants to seem as though you're a great person, you're a nice person, you're this wonderful person. How much of this stuff that you're doing? How many of you are walking around making sure your uncle is okay, making sure your cousin is okay, stressing because your cousin was supposed to go somewhere, and because your cousin didn't go to that place, you're stressing because you're wondering what happened to that person. What happened to my uncle? Why didn't he do this? What happened to my cousin? Why didn't he do this? How much of your life are you dedicating to the structure of somebody else? How much of your life are you dedicating to the structure of somebody else? That's number one. Now think about that. How many of you are taking care of people that should be taking care of themselves? I will never forget the first time that we got married, my wife was paying a whole bunch of people's phone bills. And she was working 2 jobs, but everybody else wasn't. And the first thing I said to her, I said, "Oh, that's over. You do know that comes to a complete stop, right?" Well, see, what you think is you're not a deity to their world. You're a deity to your world. So what happens is people will lean on you to accomplish what they want to get. Remember, you're powerful, and people know that you're powerful. And they know that when you use your power, they're going to see something happen. They'll get you to pray. They'll get you to come over. They'll get you to get out of your bed and do the things you need to do. Why? Because you are powerful in and of yourself, but you carry enough strength. Your daily bread is enough strength for you to accomplish what's in your spirit designed by you and God, number one. Number two, how much of the things that you're dealing with are based on emotion? Write that down. Number two, how much of what you're dealing with is based on emotion or your perception of a situation? I hope you got that, D-Bone. If I need to recite, If I need to repeat it, I will. How much of what you're dealing with is based on your perception of the thing? Those of you that just said about autism. And some of you never said, like, wow, I never thought about that. Because what the autistic world is doing is advancing their brain at a level that we would. So all we have to do is deal with the other parts of the brain. But the science doesn't understand the brain, but the spirit or the manufacturer understands the brain. You live at a point where it's not impossible for anything to take place. So your prayers and your love are potent, very strong combination. But how much of the things that you're dealing with are your emotions? Your mother died and you go, oh my God, why did my mother die? How much of it deals with your mother, your auntie, your uncle? How do you feel about this situation? You jump on your little soapbox because of black people don't like white people and how the president and all, and you stress because you see this world coming to a crumbling end and you are stressed about it. How many of you are dealing with depression? And depression simply makes you feel hopeless because you feel like you're by yourself, or you feel like you're alone, you feel like nobody cares. But you sit and you understand that what you're dealing with is really your perception of God. So how much of you are dealing with your emotions and your perception? How you see something, how you view something. My job is to get you to view things in the spirit. That is my whole job. My job is not to get you to like me. My job is not to get you to worship me. My job is not even to get you to follow me. My job is to get you to have the perception of the spirit and you begin to operate at a whole nother level, because the people around you, they don't operate that way. They don't operate that way. Okay. Number 3. Now this one I want you to understand. And I'm going to write this one down in a way. I want you to see this. Okay. How many are dealing with the pressure of what you remember? Somebody write that on a piece of paper. Remember. Re means do again. And member means put things together. Dismember, remember. How many things are from your past? They're already gone. They're already done. There's nothing you can do about it. They've already made their decisions and move. How many of those things are from your past? From what somebody said something when you were little. Oh my God, you're ugly. Oh my God, you're short. Oh my God, you'll never be anything. Or you failed in something. Well, you didn't fail. You didn't work out. It didn't work out the way you wanted to work out. How many of those things are a part of that? Your life is altered because of that. First thing, how many things are because how many things don't have to do with you? Second thing, how many things are emotional and according to your emotions and your perception? And third thing, how many things are you remembering or bringing from your past? Bringing from your past. I got to write that one down. Why? Because a lot of you bring luggage from the old house. When we moved, I told my wife to bring her clothes and bring her bed. Because there are things that you're attached to, and those things that you're attached to, let me slide up a little bit. Those things that you're attached to, those things carry, now follow me now, they carry the spirit of where they came from. Now, there's a difference in the spirit of it, and there's a difference in than a demon or a devil. The spirit of it is the thing that you look at and you remember what it is. See, and when you begin to understand spiritual battles, you'll understand that the things that you remember is the things that were suggested to you to rebuild them from your past into your present. Okay, let me see. It's this. Okay, so check this out. Check this out. Okay, now everybody see this. Now I gotta shake this off because it's got a little water on it. All right, everybody see this. Did I drop it? Guys, I almost fell. Everybody see this. Now, this is a cooler or a Yeti. I don't know what they call them. But anyway, it keeps my water cold. It's if I keep that water cold, this straw, let's say something bad happened with this straw. And so this thing, it's dismembered. I took it apart. And because I took it apart, it doesn't do what it does. It can hold water, but it can't cover the water, and it doesn't hold the straw steady. So I remember it. I put it back together. So what I do is I put it in the position it was in the past. So now it looks like something for the present, but was brought from the past. Does that make sense to a lot of people? What you're doing is taking things that look like they belong here, but they're from your past because you're comfortable with them. Most of us are comfortable with our fears. They're comfortable with our disappointments and hurts. We don't want to be there, but we're so comfortable with them that they become attributes of our personality. You remember stuff. How do I forget my past? You don't forget your past. You fight against your past. Let me tell you the difference. When I was younger, I was called Jenny, giraffe, skinny, whatever the situations were. And at the time, I was skinny. Really slim. So when I got older, I still had that feeling of being slim. So as I began to bulk up for whatever reason, whether it's working out or collard greens, I had to get away from the thought process that I had about myself in the past. So every time something would say that I'm skinny, I would either say I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, or I go, nope, that's slim. There's a difference in skinny and slim. You have to realize I was slim, and slim people, yada, 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 yada. You have to battle the thoughts because those suggestions have now had right. You've given them right to be in your brain. You've given them right to be in your thought process. You've given them an easy pass, so all the time they want to come in, they just flash the easy pass and come in. Does that make sense? Okay. So now the third thing is how many things that you're dealing with, that you're carrying, are you remembering? They don't have any aspect. His mercies are new every day. They don't have any right at this point. They have no rights to be in your life. They have no rights to be in your life. Number one, how much of the things have nothing to do with you are not about you. Number two, how much of it is emotion and perception. Number three, how much of it is remembering and bringing to fact the past. Number four, how much of it is unforgiveness. How much of it is unforgiveness? That's huge because we want an eye for an eye, but we don't want to be treated like an eye for an eye. We want to feel like, God got our back, but we don't want to let God have anybody else's back. How much of it is your unforgiveness? I'm going to say your fears. How much of it is unforgiveness? Have you forgiven? We try to forgive at the level that we can handle. And I'm cool with that. I understand that. And I know God understands that. But how many of you have forgiven? Let's make it real. Let's make it real to us. Okay, so you are dating this particular young man, and when you're dating the young man, and or you went out with the young man, while you were dating, he picked up a phone and called his ex-girlfriend. Now you are in a constant process of trying to get him back for what he did. He just called her. And I'm saying whether he called her yes or not, but he called her. So you're in a perpetual place of trying to get him to realize what he did. So much to the point that you can't forgive him for what he did. So now you break up, you let go, you go to another level. You find you another man, but you never forgave him nor forgiven yourself. So what you do is you carry that around with you. Where my little clips? I have my little clips over here. You carry that around with you. I don't have any with me. Any with me? I'll do this right here. You carry that around with me, right with you. So that thing is sitting on you, and everywhere you go, it's carried around with you. It almost begins to affect you because you haven't forgiven. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. I know it's hard. Why did grandma leave me? Why did auntie leave me? Why did they do this to me? Stop asking why. Get over it and keep moving. I told you someone took $5,000 from us, left us desolate. But if I had stopped at the moment and said forgiving, because I'm teaching the difference of forgiving and restoration. If I had stopped and said, okay, this is the difference, I would have been way ahead of where I am even right now. But what happens is the part of us that's so carnal that we feel like it was a break against us and it was an attack against us, that part of us wants to get that person back. So we hold on to it. They're not even thinking about it anymore. And I know it's as simple as somebody lying to you and as advanced as somebody molesting you. But the key becomes maintain your life and maintain your power. All of the things I'm talking to you about are maintaining your life or maintaining the life that you have, that the Spirit is trying to, and maintaining who you are, maintaining your power. Now, what you have to realize is when you get through that, when you get past the let go of everybody else's stuff, start giving stuff back to the people that it belongs to. When you stop letting yourself be so driven by emotion, when you stop remembering and pulling things from your past and placing them here, when you stop unforgiveness, when you start believing God is real, how much of the stuff that is happening to you is because you really have not convinced yourself that God is real? How many of you have not forgiven yourself? How many of you don't really believe that God can handle a situation? How many of you do not really believe? See, a lot of the stuff that you're dealing with is the fact that you don't believe God could do it anyway. Now, don't get me wrong. You believe in God and you believe he's powerful. But what's happening to you is you're in a position where you're going, I know he can do it, but I don't know if he can do it for me. Even now. And the challenge becomes you begin to connect carnal rituals with spiritual principles. So that you go, maybe I should go pay my tithes and maybe that should happen. Or maybe I should be nice to people. Maybe God's cursing me because I was mean. Or maybe that is not God. God is not going, because you're mean, I'm going to smack your hand. What he does is he begins to get you to see yourself. When you do something that is against your spirit lets you see yourself. Why? Because God doesn't have time to give you a spanking, because every day is ordered by him. So the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. So when you do something here, he can't let you sit there for 30 days and soak over it. He's got to say, shake it off, repent, keep it moving, because you have a destination. And if you stay stuck in these places, believe that God is. Number 5. If you stay stuck in these places, you'll never get there. Oh no, it's there. But you'll go in so many circles of distraction that by the time you get there, it'll be time for you to go home to be with him. Hebrews 11:6 says this. He that comes to God must first believe that he is. First of all, first and foremost. And let's read this exactly the way it says. Must believe that he is, and a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So he's saying, you got to believe that he is, and a reward of them that diligently seek him. But without faith, it is impossible to please him, because he that comes to God must believe that he is, and a reward of them that diligently seek him. Now, those of you that are new to the page and new to me know what faith is. Faith is the evidence and the substance. So without the evidence and the substance, meaning that God is so real that he's tangible to you, without faith, it is impossible to please him, because you don't believe that he is. You really don't believe that he is. You watch things happen, you thank God for them, and then certain things you'll thank him for and certain things you won't. So now he's either real or he's not real. He's either real or he's not real. You have to live like he's real. You can't live like he's not real. So we have those 5 things, and 5 is the number of the hand of God. Whenever you see the number 5, you see the hand of God. That's your new worship place. Whenever you see the number 5, it's the hand of God. You just saw it then. That's the hand of God. So whenever you see the hand of God, that means that God is in the situation, even when you don't even know he's in the situation. But you have to believe that he is. How do I build my faith? Uncle Dallas, how do I build myself to the point that I believe that he is? You have to step out on trust. You have to step out. Everybody wants to be a part of this conference. I'm telling you to step out. You got to step out. The way you do that is you step out. You have to step out. And when you step out with the understanding that he's going to be there. Not with the hope, not with the belief, with the persuasion that he's going to be there. Right now, some of you are sitting in cars, driving cars, sitting on the sofa. You are not thinking about the fact that that seat may fall. You're surprised if it does because you believe so much in the fact that it doesn't do that you're surprised when it does. That's the type of belief you have to have for God. You've got to believe it so much to the point that you are, it almost trips you out that you didn't believe him. It trips you out that it didn't work because it's going to work. You follow me? So this is life and that more abundantly. When you can get these things out of your way, you can see God in a new manner. There is nothing impossible for God. Nothing. Anybody that tells you, well, you know this, I don't want to hear it. Don't even put the but conjunction. There is nothing impossible for God. Nothing. And for everything that I've experienced, I'm experiencing even more. So now I have to learn how to hear at a different level. Number 5 is believing that God is real. Hebrews 11:6. Number 5 is you do. How many of you really, to be honest with you, believe God but don't know that he would do that you don't believe that he can do the things for you that you want? How many believe that he can give you $1 billion tomorrow in the morning? Now your mind is playing on. You have to get to the point. The number 5 is believe. How much of what you're doing is the lack of your trust in God? Let me put it that way so we have it away. How much of what you're doing is your lack of trust in God? How much of what you're doing is your lack of trust in God? And now, it's you. You don't have to tell me, but it's you. You don't trust God. Well, that's just the way he is. Your ex. He ain't never gonna change. You don't trust God to do that? It's just gonna snow tomorrow. When it snows, you don't trust God. I know exactly what she's gonna say. I know exactly what she's gonna say. You don't trust God? See, all these things that you guys are saying, I know some of y'all going, wow, you don't trust God. It's okay. It's all right. Because, see, God doesn't dislike you because of that. And I'm bringing this to your attention because when I bring it to your attention, then all of a sudden you begin to deal with it. Because if you trust God, you go to him with the belief and the trust that he's God. What if they don't read the book, God? What if they don't like the book? You don't trust God? What's going to happen see, all your ifs because you try to question your position and your questions give you an easier trust and makes you comfortable. You ask questions because you want to be comfortable in your decision. When your decision should be purely established on the fact that you trust God. It should be purely on the fact that you trust God. That's it. Well, how do I trust God? You do it without questioning. You do it without asking. You do it without wondering and just do it. And you leave him in control so that he can take care of it. He said, I think you guys are dealing with a lot of superstitions. Hand itch. You might need to step on crack. All these things. You're dealing with all these superstitions. All this stuff that is superstition. All the stuff that is superstition. And God is attempting to give you some of the greatest movements of your entire life because he wants you to have life and more abundantly. Why? Why don't you want to go to the Why don't you want to go to the beach? Why don't you want to go where the tickets are $4,000? Why don't you want to go there? Oh my God. Oh my God. Why? Why not? Well, because part of you is, and this is me, part of us are still living the interpretation of the definition that our parents gave us in our past. And so that's our life. You're never going to be nothing. You're not going to be. And even if your parents were good parents, there are things that they said that kind of knocked you off your rocker. And because you were knocked off your rocker, you didn't know what you were going to do next. Dad wasn't there. Mom wasn't there. And so because of that, you are being thrown off center. You're off balance now. But I want you to be back on balance. Father, I thank you that you bring balance to their lives, that you bring change to their lives, that you manifest yourself to them in a way that they will understand you, God. I thank you for that. And I bless you that your power is far beyond anything we can ask or think, because you are wonderful. How many of us are carrying around those 5 things? Now, is God still blessing you? Yeah, he's still blessing you. He's going to continue to bless you. Well, he's God. That's what God does. But what you have to realize is within you believe in God, you have to realize that he believes in you. He believes in you. Within that, he believes in you. And when you understand he believes in you, you'll understand that why he keeps being long-suffering is because he knows that if he lets you into your perfect place, into your promised place, that you will blow this thing out of the water. He knows that. He knows that you will blow this thing out of the water. And what he's getting you to understand is, in the process of that, learning that you'll blow this thing out of the water, you also learn that he's making your life worth living. He is. All right? All right. Now, any questions, comments, or concerns? Now, for those of you that want to write the notes, these are the things that are detrimental to your move. And how much of what you're dealing with has to do with other people? Number 1. Number 2, how much of what you're dealing with is emotion and perception? Big. Number 3, how much of it is you remembering as in the opposite of dismembering? How much of it is you remembering and bringing from the past? As Car 702, I had a dream about meeting somebody with a scar. That's interesting. Number 4, how much of it is unforgiveness? And finally, number 5, how much of it is your lack of belief that God will do it for you? How much of it is your lack of belief that God will do it for you? Your spirit is right now going, yes, 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 I want to go here. Yes, I want to be there. Yes, yes, yes. Your spirit is doing that. But your carnal mind is going, dude, we don't like to fly. The trains don't go there. Your carnal mind is battling this because the enemy is not in the possession. He's in the suggestion. Why? So you can use your power against you. He wants you to use your power. He doesn't have power. So he has to suggest, well, maybe you should try this. And all of a sudden now you're going, that sounded right, but it was not lined up according to the power of God. Amen. It was not lined up to the power of God. Okay. All righty. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Any questions, comments, or concerns? Any of you? TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Yes, beauty, dainty. Summing it all up. I was waiting for my questions. Okay. Summing it all up. Okay. The life you have is your life. It's the life that you were designed to have by God. God gave you this life, and he gave it to you because it is the best life that you need, or is the most efficient life you need to be and the destination he called you to be. So he's conditioning you to live in a better destination. He's conditioning you to live a better life. So you have to lay aside all the weights. These are weights. How, emotion, remember, forgiveness, and belief in God. These are all weights that are stopping you from getting to your destination. You got to get free. Get free. That's your number one goal. Get free. Your number one goal is not, I like shirts, I like clothes. Your number one goal is get free. Because freedom is the only thing that's going to allow you to see God at the level that you really want to see him. Freedom. Just being free. Whom the Son set free is free indeed. That's what freedom is all about. All right. Any more questions, comments, concerns? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Any questions, comments, and concerns? Now, if I have not called you struggle of not believing in the God that I live in, that lives in me. Okay. All right. Can we continue to pray for the family members, but stop doing for them? Yeah, that's going to be kind of hard for a lot of you. She said, can we pray for the family members, but stop enabling them is what we should have said. Enabling them. We enable so many people because we feel like, he shouldn't suffer, she shouldn't suffer. And so what we do is we enable them. So we pray for them instead of enabling them. And that was what was said by Nikki. I don't feel like any of it is unforgiven, but I'm willing to hear from the Holy Spirit, Margarita, to show me. I cannot. Glamour Ghana. I think it's Glamour Ghana. Glamour Ghana says. Matter of fact, I can put it up here. Glamour Ghana says, yeah. You said trust God and just do it. What is the do? The do is the action of pushing past your emotions and operating in what you believe God has told you to do. Spending time pushing past that thing that tries to stop you from moving and pushing yourself into the thing where God protects you personally. All right, I hope that helped. Okay. Let me see what. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Can you continue to pray for my family? Yeah. I will continue. Okay. Okay. Well, any questions, comments, and concerns, let me know. I can go ahead and move on. We're going to thank Facebook for showing up and being here, part of us. We're going to thank them for, sharing their opportunity and their time with us. Opportunity and time with them. So Facebook, I appreciate you. YouTube, I appreciate you guys. I really, really, really appreciate you. Hit YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, and you'll see us there. We'll do our question and answers over there. So if you have any questions and answers or answers, give us a call, connect over there. All right. I love you very much, YouTube. My name is Uncle Dallas. They call me Pastor Dallas. And you've just been taken to a higher standard. Peace. Yeah. Let's make sure it says he's on the default screen. Got it. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah. All right. And the same situation when it comes to Facebook. Facebook, I appreciate you guys who got me to this place. I look to be a blessing to someone in your area, and God will bless us, and we'll do it. All right. Okay. All righty. And that was Facebook. Yep.